Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Occasions to Limit Gaming. I am Stando, and today we're not talking about gaming. I'm actually going to talk to you in vlog format and talk a little bit off the cuff and just tell you what's been going on in my life. I mean, there's been some news this week in the video game spectrum, but most of that news has been revolving around Rockstar and, working 100-hour weeks during crunch period, which it turns out was kind of true, but kind of not true, because it turns out that the only people working 100-hour weeks were the senior writer and a few other writers, and they only did that for 3 weeks. And then most of the employees there worked 60 to 70 hours during crunch time. And there's this big debate right now whether or not the video game industry needs to really move towards a more union type of work environment as opposed to a right to work environment. But it is what it is. I don't want to get into that political debate here on YouTube, and I think what needed to be said has really been said by much people who are better at that stuff than I am. So, but what I did want to talk to you guys about this week is I have been working the same shit job for 22 years. That's right. I got this job when I was 16. Let me explain. All right. So I'm 16 and I go out to get a job to do what I need to do. And I go to KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I work there until I'm about 18, 19. I'm pretty much working there full time, which is, 35 hours or more, while going to high school, while doing everything. And it didn't pay well. This was back in 1996. I'm making $4 and a quarter, right? Eventually I did get a raise, but then I think it was to $4.75 or something like that, and the minimum wage got lifted to $5.15. And guess who did not get a raise to compensate for, I was now making $5.15. I was making minimum wage all over again. And that's pretty much been my struggles with KFC, especially in the early days. Like, as minimum wage goes up, that doesn't mean that the employees get a cost increase. Now, when I turned about 18 or 19, there for the longest time, I was working 2 jobs. I was working, I worked at CVS warehouse there for a while, and I worked at a factory job and did some things like that. And those jobs were great, but I was really, burnt out on, working 40 to 60 hours at these jobs, these grown-up jobs. And because I didn't want to go to college then, because I had other stuff going on personally. I don't want to get into that, but there was other stuff that I didn't want to go to college right out of high school. So I decided to go work at the factories and stuff at 18, 19, all the way up until I was 20. And what happened is my KFC franchise ended up getting bought out. But I had still been working there part-time. I was working 2 jobs, factory during the day or warehouse during the day, whatever. And then KFC three nights a week, right? Working 2 jobs, trying to pull it in. And my KFC franchise got bought out by another person. I'm not going to talk about franchise owners and all this other stuff and tell you all that. But essentially what happened was the franchise owner was like, what would it take to get you on my management team? Because I was a pretty good employee. I was quick, I was on time, I worked hard. And I said, you know what, just pay me enough to where I don't have to work 2 jobs. And he did that. And granted, that wasn't a lot. We're talking about at the time, we're talking about like in 2000 and the year 2001, like all it took for me not to work 2 jobs was about $9.50 an hour. Okay. So $9.50 an hour is what it took. And I worked for this guy until 2005. Yeah, 2005. And in 2005, I decided to go see if the grass was greener on the other side of the fence. And I went to another KFC. And this one was a different franchise owner and all that stuff. And I got a little bump in pay. I was making about $10 an hour or something like that. $10.25, somewhere in there. But it was salary, and I was still on the management team, and I had worked myself up to assistant general manager, and I had worked there for about 3 years, and then I got into it with that franchise owner because he wasn't running his store properly and stuff. Like the drink machine would go down, and instead of having somebody in there to fix it that day, we would go like a week or two without like getting that fixed. And so it wasn't that great of an experience. Like we would have equipment broke, and he would cheapskate his way out of it. So I decided to go back and work for my old franchise boss, and because the grass wasn't really greener, and I took a little pay raise with me. I talked to myself, I marketed myself into that little pay raise spot, like I'm worth it. And so yeah, I was making about $11.80 an hour, $12 an hour, and yeah, it was okay there for the longest time. I've been at a new location for 10 years now, but that's still like 22 years altogether with the brand KFC. Even though I took a 3-year break and worked at a different franchise during that 3-year period, overall with the brand, it's 22 years. It's not that bad. $12 an hour though, after that long, it's exhausting. And I was assistant manager, and I was like, man, there is no way that that the woman in front of me is ever going to retire, right? The general manager at the time. There's no way she's ever going to retire. So I thought I was going to take myself down to part-time. This was back actually five years ago. I was going to take myself back down to part-time and go back to school and do the school thing and get an associate's degree, because that'll help me get a job, right? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the thing is that while I was at school, that lady actually ended up passing away. She ended up dying, and which means I would have been, if I was still full-time, next in line for that general manager's position with a quite a bit of a pay raise, right? But bad timing, I guess. And I've watched everybody else around me move up, and I kept myself at that part-time. Even when I got out of school, I've been looking for jobs that weren't internships, that were in my field of study. And I was looking for jobs that weren't internships, because at my age with my family, I have a family of 5. I can't afford to go back and work for near nothing. You know what I mean? I've got to make some bank. And but the franchise manager we have right now, he doesn't really do the cost of living increases like I had mentioned before. So even though the minimum wage keeps going up and up, the people who are already making above that aren't seeing raises outside. Very, very seldom. I don't think I've had a raise in like a decade, and it's not for me not asking for it. It's just, oh well, your bonus is your raise because you get this and this and this. Well, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, I decided after looking around and not being able to find a job in my field of study that maybe I should go back and work at the factory, because I like the factory work pretty good, and they're actually paying more now than they used to back in the day. So I looked around at some of the factories and stuff, and they have like no salary caps, things like that. And even though I'm probably going to be starting out at the same amount of money I'm getting now, there's chance for huge amounts of overtime if I want it. And then there's the annual cost of living increase, which will help. And I don't have to worry about that ever being capped off. I get a raise every year, which is an awesome thing. So eventually I can be making some pretty serious bank if I want to. But I wanted to let you guys know that basically I've quit my fast food job, and I took a more, let's call it a grown-up job, working in the factory, and hopefully making more money, and that'll release some financial tension for me and my family. But here's the thing: I have built a life here on YouTube and on Twitch over the past I want to say 4 years now, 4.5 years, something like that, because I started this when I was going to college and stuff like that. So I want to continue doing it. The problem is, though, is I have less time to do everything that I want to do. I have a second YouTube channel that I want to put something over there, maybe some extras content or something. I don't even know. Maybe vlogs like this need to go over there instead of here on what I consider now the main channel of YouTube. And not make mistakes with this channel like I had done in the past. I need to find a way to keep the content updating regularly here, but I also like streaming to Twitch more than anything right now. Like, that is my passion. We got so many good people over there on Twitch. Yeah, we've had a slow past couple of weeks, but when Twitch is booming, man, it's booming, and I can't brag on those guys enough for, you know, supporting the channel and stuff. And oh man, it really helps. It really helps. And you know, I love video games, have a passion for video games, always have, since way back when the Nintendo first came out. So the original NES. I just love video games, and I want to continue covering video games and talking about my favorite pastime, my favorite hobby, with a bunch of other people who enjoy the same thing. And I just love that. I think I gravitate towards Twitch more because of the live element of it, and you know, having that live audience back you up and supporting you there and stuff like that. And let's be honest, YouTube's not been real great about, you know, being a best friend when it comes to smaller content creators. You know, they're not going to push your voice out there to anybody new or anything like that. So really, it's working all your own. You know, I might get a random new subscriber from the search engine covering a topic that's trending, but how often do we get to the trending topic on time? A lot of times it doesn't happen. A lot of times that opportunity passes because we're not in that Silicon Valley bubble. You know what I mean? If you don't live in California, if you don't live in that San Francisco Bay Area, you know, it's really hard to get your channel off the ground sometimes because you don't have that insider dealing with developers and things like that. And so it can be really hard to, like, or even if you don't live in like Montreal or you know, Santa Monica or something like that, if you don't live near these developers, if you live as remote as I do, I mean, I love video games, but I live relatively the furthest away from anybody who makes video games or you know, hardcore journalists that are within that sphere. So it's really hard to be topical promptly because I just don't have those connections within that inner circle, and it's such a small inner circle. And I think that's what a lot of content creators here struggle with, is the very same thing. So that's a thing. But I still like talking about that stuff, and I want to continue doing that. So yeah, I may not have as much time, and I may miss some here and there, but I just want to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on and why things are so chaotic in the way they are. I have hired a staff. I don't know if I mentioned that in a previous video or not. I can't remember if I have, but if I haven't, shout outs to Tech Gladiator, who has been working on this YouTube channel with me. I think I mentioned that in my past vlog, but in case I didn't, I just wanted to shout him out and thank him very much for being a member of the Occasional Limit Gaming team, because he's been taking a lot of our Twitch past broadcasts, and I told him that I only wanted to do this for single player games, that I only wanted to port over single player content that we have done that is new, that is fresh, that we haven't, you know, really recorded or ported before. So he's been doing a really good job of porting the live streams over from Twitch. And I want to say to you guys that, like, I know those videos might be long, but if you just want something to listen to while you put it in the background and listen and hang out with us and feel like you're a part of the show that way, that's cool. I don't expect anybody to watch the full 4 hours. Maybe you can like skim it or skip around if you want to, or figure out how I did something when I had a problem. Maybe you can find that within my past videos, and hopefully that helps. But also I want to create the type of content that does push our channel forward, which is the vlog, the news, and the reviews. I just need to find time to do everything and not stress myself stretch myself too thin or stress about it too much. But anyway, guys, I just want to keep you guys in the loop of what I've been thinking here lately and what's been mulling around in my head, and it feels good just to talk. It really does. Sometimes you just need an outlet and to put thought to paper, so to speak. But in my case, it's put thought to video, and just get it out there and get some feedback from you guys. It really does help a lot. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' ambitions are and how your lives are going down in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you're new around here and you're into stupid videos, rambling videos like this one. Hit that subscribe button, because I'm sure it's not going to be the last time that I make one of these videos. It's not our normal thing, but hey, maybe it can be. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. Love your faces, guys. Y'all have a good one. Peace.